Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Leafy Camo Podcast, where we fully cover all things Pokemon. Today, I am joined by the one and only Bobby Lawler, and Dallas White is taking off today. So he had some stuff come up, and he's not going to be able to join us, but that's okay. Of course, he is here with us in spirit. He's doing his best, testing for like NAIC and all that fun stuff, as long with you. But yeah, so last week we skipped. Last week. We just kind of were all a little bit busy, and Dallas was taking a trip down to Puerto Rico for the special event, which we will be covering today as well. So we're sorry about that, but hopefully we can bring it back this week and just have a good time in general. Just a nice little comeback, but. Before we really get into anything, Bobby, how have you been? It's been a little while since I talked to you. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. Just testing like a whole bunch of decks, even on live, which I need to put our usernames in the descriptions for people.
Oh yeah, sure.
Just
good.
Testing on live and testing at locals. Even like some people at my locals have their can play in the NA. So I've been helping them out with playing Lost Box, Chimpow, Guardian, and a couple other things, so that way they can get used to it.
For sure.
I mean, my bad, dude.
Go ahead, my bad.
Like I've been even with Dallas is like we've been testing also for when Cups and Challengers come back also.
For sure. So so a lot of things happened since we were gone. Of course, PTCG Live basically blew up, and half the card pool is gone. Not really, but what is like Tinglu, Spiritomb, Empoleon, and Aerodactyl are all banned.
There's like two other ones. There's like
there's like it's like a random Gorobus and something else that nobody cares about. But yeah, like basically any card that can lock an ability is banned, and it's just the funniest, stupidest crap. And there's like massive bugs with like Temple of Sinnoh, and it has just been a nightmare. It's
great.
It has been a nightmare, and it has not been very fun. So I actually ended up getting out the tabletop simulator and working out that and figuring that out. So whenever we get ready to go into the next season to start testing, I am in for like trying out some tabletop simulator and getting some good testing in that way with y'all. But I guess that there's really not much else to say about the live situation. It's just like a whole bunch of cards are banned. Live sucks as usual, and is anybody really surprised? So, yeah.
Like I was playing the Spiritomb combo for a little bit, and I was like, "Wow, this is really stupid. I'm not doing this now." I felt bad for doing that to people too. I was like, I'm sorry.
Oh, dude, like, I saw that on Twitter, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just avoiding live for, like, a week, and then they banned more stuff. I was like, oh, okay. So, I have had literally no motivation to play the game.
I don't blame you.
But, like, I mean, to be fair, I don't really need to play as much as you guys, because I'm more on the staffing side and all that fun stuff, but still but yeah, it's still nice to play every now and then, keep up to date with everything. But so speaking of playing though, I did actually go to a league challenge not last Friday, the Friday before that. I never got to actually talk about it on the podcast because we skipped last week. So yeah, it was just kind of like a spur of the moment kind of thing. I just like, hey, I want to go to this league. I saw it on Facebook. Go to this league challenge. First place gets a booster box of Paldea Evolved. And I was like, why not? So me and the wifey went up there, and I won. It was pre-Paldea Evolved, and I brought out the Turbo Lost Box with Kyogre. Basically our list, Bobby. And I won, went 4-0. That was really clean. I took a 5 prize turn on a Mew to win a game, and that was pretty sweet.
Shit's sick, right?
That was pretty sweet. So yeah,
it's sick when you can do that. I love it.
Yeah, I never got the turn 1/7 though. I missed the turn 1/7 all 4 games. I got turn 1/4 every single round though, at least. One of the rounds I had to go first though, so it wasn't it wasn't like too crazy, but like yeah, I missed the turn 1/7 every time, which is a little unfortunate, but not the end of the world. But yeah, so overall though, I enjoyed it. I got a Paldea Evolve box. Didn't pull anything too crazy in it, other than maybe like a full art Chien Pao or something like that. I think it was probably the best pull of the box, but was still really cool to see that I can still bring home the bacon, as you say, every now and then. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, Bobby, anything else before we start getting into some of these the results for Puerto Rico?
Not really. Just been busy with all that stuff and then NAIC and shit. But
testing anything
not really.
fun and specific for NAIC?
Side events.
Yeah.
That's about it for me.
Yeah, Bobby and Dallas both unfortunately didn't get in through the lottery system. Yeah, it wasn't a lottery, but it might as well have been. So, but
I felt like it.
It pretty much was, right? So
yeah,
but yeah, but yeah, so that was pretty fun. I enjoyed being able to play. And then on the following week, I went and judged the challenge, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, so cups and challenges and basically everything is done. It's all about NAIC, but this past weekend we did have one event come up, that being the Puerto Rico special event. Dallas did make it down there. I think he got what top 256, 128. I don't remember exactly. We don't have all the stats, and I fortunately can't ask him. So, but I know he did decently well. Obviously not top A as we can see here, but I'm glad that he went down and he had some fun. He stayed safe, all that fun stuff. But yeah, we don't have really any of the lists for this, because I think a lot of the players are trying to keep things under wraps. But we do at least have the archetypes, and we have 5 Lost Box decks in top 5. All 5 of the top 5 placing decks were Lost Box. I assume most of them will be like the traditional turbo build, but we do see one Zard right here. And then wrapping it up, we have 2 Gardevoirs and a Arctina Umbreon, which is kind of interesting. Just another Arc Pile kind of deck. So yeah, but Bobby, what do you think about this? Is this going to be what we're probably going to be seeing going into NAIC? Like, is Lost Box going to overtake Gardevoir? I know everybody's hyping up Gardevoir, and we'll be talking about other the decks that we're hyped for, but is Lost Box going to be the thing to beat?
It's either that or Guardy, because both of them decks are pretty rough to play against right now. Like, even like Guardy and Lost Box now is like, it feels 50-50, but it's probably not. But like,
yeah, I think Gardevoir's still slightly unfavored, but it has more of the tools to beat it. So,
yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well, the new energy, reversal energy, just helps that out so much now.
Yeah.
And the Super Rod is a broken card. I love Super Rod. I play 3 in my Lost Box build instead of the energy recycler now.
Oh, nice.
But anyway, it's for me, it's a toss up between Lost Box and Guardy. I think both of them are going to actually have maybe equal percentage in at the NA.
Mm-hmm. I can definitely see it. So
who knows, really? I mean, I've been seeing on Twitter some people hyping up the Meowscarado. I'm probably butchering the name.
Meowscarada?
Yeah, the EX. I've seen a couple of tweets where they were like talking about, well, nobody's playing it right, or the build's not correct. Which, who knows? Anything can happen. It's a card game. Nothing's impossible. You saw it at Charlotte with Eternius.
Yeah.
Winning it. So
I don't know.
Anything's possible.
I don't know about that though. Like Eternatus had some backbone to it and like some backing, but I don't know. But yeah,
The
so this
wheezing.
was that's right, the wheezing. But yeah, no, this is very cool. We do have at least one list. This was Aiden Kuslid. He did post this. This was a Lost Zone with Aerodactyl. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, everything else relatively standard. They's playing the Artisan. They're not playing the Pokestops because they don't play like the Kyogre or anything like that. But yeah, this is pretty cool. The Aerodactyl is like super cool. And then we have Carlos. I love his presentation. This is beautiful presentation of his deck list right here. Wonderful. As you see, another Lost Box. It's kind of hard to tell what all is really in there, but yeah, it's Lost Box. Y'all know what to expect right by now. But I just thought that was really funny. So those are the two quote unquote lists that I could actually find. So this is definitely looking to be indicative of that. So yeah, the special event was pretty crazy. I also did hear that this special event had an incredibly high percentage of ties as well. Did you hear about this, Bobby? Do you know?
I heard about it, but I wasn't even sure. It's probably how many people were playing Lost Box.
Yeah.
Because the same thing happened in Knoxville. That's why in Charlotte nobody was playing Lost Box hardly.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, just... Lost Box is just definitely one of those decks that's, it's just primarily a single prize deck, and single prize decks, they take more time and stuff like that. So, what do you think people need to be keeping in mind going into, like, some of these bigger tournaments? Because, like, both of us have experience with Lost Box, you more so than I, but I can definitely say that I have plenty of reps under Lost Box for myself, and I could some games just go really long. But is there something we can do as players to do anything about that, or are we just kind of stuck with maybe taking some ties?
I feel with Lost Box, if it's a grindy game, you're stuck taking them ties. Like, certain matchups are annoying to play against. Like, for example, Hartford. Perfect example. Guardy V Union. Horrendous matchup because of V Union. Can't save a life. You have to be super aggressive in the beginning as fast as possible to get the prizes. And we tied because he got game 1, he set up, got everything. Game 2, I set up and got everything. In game 3, we were like, there's no way both of us are taking 5 prizes in one turn.
Yeah, I definitely.
So it's the decision making that can be the problem for it, because Lost Box, you have to make the decisions. And you basically almost see the future, and it's kind of hard to do it. And you cannot get your stuff back from the Lost Zone. So, and I'm kind of glad they have not made a card that can do that. So.
Well, I mean, that would kind of defeat the purpose, right? Like, this ain't Yu-Gi-Oh!
Sometimes.
We can't drag banished cards back. Like, that would kind of defeat the purpose.
Broken,
probably. Or like, just put it on like a V-Star power or something like that. Once a game, shuffle 3 cards from your Lost Zone back into your deck. Like, bruh,
no.
Like, that would be kind of freaking cracked. But
no, I would hate that.
But yeah, so
oh, man.
So yeah, there's really not a whole ton that we can really talk about the Puerto Rico event. Obviously, we don't have too many lists to talk about, but we've seen these archetypes, time after time and after time. We can't really imagine that too much has been changed about any decks here. But yeah, so like, this should be probably what we were expecting. Maybe not this much Lost Box, but because this was a smaller event, but definitely can see Lost Box, Gardevoir, in repping the numbers in NAIC top 8. Maybe something similar to this, and maybe an arc pile sneak in just like this one did. But yeah, so
I hope so.
so yeah, so But yeah, so before we really get into talking about some NAIC, because that is going to definitely be the main meat and potatoes of our podcast here today, we do have to take care of one thing, and Dallas is gone today. But we are still going to be doing Guess That Flavor Text. Today it is my turn, and it is a one-on-one where I'm going to pick a card, and I'm going to read the flavor text on the card, and Bobby is going to try his best to guess what Pokemon that flavor text has. So,
it's Pikachu.
It's Pikachu. So, he can use 3 different lifelines: the name of the set the card is from, the stage of the Pokemon, and an attack name on that Pokemon. So, Bobby, are you ready, my friend, for your Guess That Flavor Text?
Choose a new card because I can see it.
You can see it? What?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it, freaking Discord. Just say it.
At least I was being honest.
You were being honest. Okay. Can you see it? Okay, you can't see it now. Cool. There you go. Okay. Damn it, now I have to choose a new card because that card. Damn it, I actually didn't
But
think
you're right.
I knew you would never have guessed that card because I don't think that you know what that Pokemon even is. So
all I know it's a new Pokemon, and I'm like, oh, what's it do?
Damn. Oh, let's see. Damn it, I have to find a new card. Let's see. No, that one kind of might give it away a little bit. No, dang, I had that one. Like, just I was ready, man. I was ready. Man. You ruined it. You ruined it, man.
I didn't ruin it. You did it yourself.
I did do it myself, didn't I?
You did it yourself.
I did, dude. At least you were honest. At least you were.
I was like, oh, could you pick a new one, please?
All right, here we go.
Oh.
Okay, Bobby, are you ready now? All right.
Sure.
All right. So, normally we do if I'm able to stump if one of us is able to stump the other, the guesser will get the point. But because it is only a 1v1, I will gain nothing if I do stump Bobby, other than pride, I guess. I don't know. So, all right, here is your flavors text, sir. It has its 3rd set of legs folded up. When it's in a tough spot, this Pokemon jumps over 30 feet using the strength of its legs.
What's the setting?
The set is Paldea Evolved.
Is it that? Alright, I'm gonna take a guess. It's that Grasshopper, isn't it?
Which one?
I'm gonna go with stage 1. The stage 1.
Low Kicks? His name is Low Kicks.
Yeah.
You think it's Low Kicks?
Yeah, we going for it.
Oh, he's throwing it out there? Okay. It is not Low Kicks, it's the pre-evolution!
I was close. I was like, wait a
you
minute.
were!
As soon as you said Paldea, I was like, oh, it's one of the crickets.
Yeah.
That card was stupid good in the pre-release.
It was pretty good in the re-release. So, yeah. There we go. All right. So, yeah. No. Oh, man. I was kind of hoping that you would forget about the Low Kicks in the pre-release. Because it actually was pretty dang good in the pre-release, wasn't it? But,
So, yeah.
That's okay.
But the Tinkaton?
Oh, dude, the Tinkaton was actually really fire in previous. I can't wait until we get like a rotation or something, mix things up. I want to play some Tinkaton. I think that card's cool. But
so do I.
But yeah. So anyway, Bobby, are you ready to start us some conversation about NAIC and what we are expecting to see. So this is this is the results from the last 3 months. Why is there Eternatus in here if it's past 3 months?
I don't know.
That's weird, because it's been past 3 months since rotation.
Yes,
I'm not crazy, right? What the hell?
April 1st, Fort Wayne. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at the online events too for the rankings of different, because they have the actual new stuff on here.
I don't know. This is yeah,
It's
that's
weird.
fair. That's fair. You know what? That's probably a better look at. So let's go to play limitless. Oh, tournaments, decks. There we go. Let's go to play limitless. Why not? So this is probably a more a better way of looking at things. I mean, it's not going to be super indicative, because you got to keep in mind a lot of these tournaments are going to be running on live, and live has a ton of problems. So the numbers are going to definitely be skewed a bit, but this is pretty cool. So we see that the highest placing, the highest percentage of deck is Gardevoir, which is a 14% share of all of these events that have been happening since the beginning of Paldea Evolved, which is insane. It also has a very interesting 47% win rate as well. Funnily enough, it's down here. Wait, where is it? 47%. It has one of the worst win rates of like the top decks and stuff like that. But again, you got to think these decks these are definitely skewed and stuff like that. So but yeah, 14% of the meta share is Gardevoir. After that, we have Chien-Pao, Baxcalibur, Lost Zone, Fusion Mew, Giratina Lost Zone, and Arctina, and then a couple Lugia decks and Genesect, and just regular Mew and stuff like that. So what I want to do is I want to just look at these 4 decks right here. The Lost Zone, Gardevoir, Chien-Pao, and Fusion Mew. These are seeming like the four top decks in the format right now. And I wanted to see what your thoughts are on each of these. So I'll take the lead here with Gardevoir. So Gardevoir is an incredibly good deck. We can just look at this list here. That this is something relatively standard that we've seen from a Gardevoir list in this format. So they are playing the Mirage Step Kirlia. You can give or take that card. They're playing multiple Artisan, Collapse Stadium. Of course, usually you'll probably see a Temple of Sinnoh in here because they're playing on live, that card is bugged. They don't want to deal with that nonsense. But so Gardevoir was always pretty decent. Since its release, it was a pretty decent card. It had a lot of tools. It could do a ton of damage with Zacian. The baby Gardevoir, as you call it, the Shining Arcana Gardevoir, is incredibly powerful. Single prize Pokemon. It just always kind of had the pieces, and then Paldea Evolved came out, and it kind of broke this deck a little bit wide open. The inclusions of Iono, Reversal Energy, and I think, honestly, probably the biggest one. Everybody always talks about Reversal Energy and Iono, but Super Rod is actually a broken card. Like, it is like the most low-key broken card in a lot of decks. Bobby, do you think I'm overselling this card a little bit? But yeah, yeah.
When I was playing Guardy, I hated the Miriam.
Mm-hmm. Or Clara.
I hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, see, I'd rather have Clara sometimes, because at least adds it to hand.
Yeah.
But they both have their situations, I guess. But I hated Miriam. I was like, Super Rod needs to hurry up and come out.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that literally, I mean, Iono is amazing. Iono lets the deck, take advantage of you, because usually when you're playing Gardevoir, you're going down to sometimes even 3 prizes before you even really get up and running, depending on like how turns going out and stuff like that. But Iono lets you immediately start punishing that, and you have a pretty strong draw engine with your Kirlias and your Shining Arcanas, and Greninja if you choose to leave it on the board. So you don't feel the downsides of it yourself once you start taking knockouts. So Iono definitely helped out this deck. We saw N and even Marnie help out some kind of setup decks. Marnie less so, but then again, there wasn't really many good, or if any, good stage 2 kind of decks in the format at that time.
There was none.
There was pretty much none, just because that's the way the format did. But I mean, both Bobby and I, we played in N formats. We've played in many stage 2, stage 1 kind of formats, and like a card like this is just so strong to let the setup deck set up and then come back into the game, and that's just so good. So, but yeah, so we do see the cheeky inclusion of like the Artisan and stuff like that as well. This is just a really nice starting point list. Like I said, the Mirage Step Kirlia, you can take it or leave it. Reversal Energy, we talked about other cards, but Reversal Energy is insane. It allows your baby Gardevoir to basically turn into another Zacian. I really like 2 Reversal Energy in my build, but some people have been rocking with 1. That's fine.
See, when I played it, I did the Luxray. The Luxray with 2 reversals in case if I had that out. Reversal, take a prize, or salt in something else, and that way I can go for a knockout next turn that's important or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, I guess if you're playing that card, it's okay with 2. But with 1, I feel it's fine. Because like you even said, it's kind of... In some games, you're behind by 2 to 3 prizes, and that helps.
Yeah. So, because of all of this, Gardevoir has basically become, like, the deck to beat, I think. It's solidified itself, in my eyes, as at least a top 2 deck in the format. Jury may be still out on who's actually the number 1, but I think that it's pretty definitive that Gardevoir is definitely in the running. So, Bobby, having said all that, if you were going to NAIC, and you got through the lottery and everything this weekend, would you be sleeving up Gardevoir? And if you're not, how many people do you think will, and what would be your reason not to?
Personally, for me, I don't like the deck. It's a very good deck. I'm not saying it's bad. We'll never say it's bad. It's not what I like to play. I don't even like playing Lost Box, but that's the only deck I really like to play, besides from Chim Pao, but that's a different story. If I didn't want to play Lost Box, I would definitely play Guardy. Yeah. Right now, Guardy, to me, is a lot easier to play now than it was last format. Well, in the Scarlet Violet set format.
Yeah, you have a lot more leeway now than you did before. So before, it's just like if you get behind, there's no coming back. But now you can definitely come back, and
and this version has a really good. It actually stands up better to Lost Box than last format also, which I like because you actually get to play games.
Yep, for sure. So is that the reason that you think that you wouldn't want to play Gardevoir? Just not, set aside that you prefer it other than that, over something else, or is it just you think that Lost Box? Yeah, Lost Box is just like the only thing kind of holding you back.
If Sableye was not a card, I would play Guardy. Honestly, because I love playing Cresselia. She's awesome. That card is awesome. I love it. But Sableye, even in the mirror match of Lost Box, it's annoying to deal with. And you can't stop it at all.
Yeah. Until you play Espeon VMAX.
Yeah, I know. I used to play it in the Arceus deck.
But yeah, so yeah, since we have been talking about some Lost Box, I think we can definitely pop over and check out a Lost Box variant. So this is kind of like the Turbo Lost Box, as it's been come to known as. Well, this is actually more of a single prize Lost Box. Let me see if I can find a. Let me see. You know what? Let's just go to. Let's see if I can find like a turbo one with the dragon. There we go. Okay, so here we go. So this is what's been kind of coming around with like the Lost Box. This one doesn't play Kyogre, but there are definitely variants out there that play the Kyogre, and stuff like that. So you can have like the single prize routes, or you can go like include the V's and like heavy Mirage Gates and stuff like that. This one's playing Drapion. That's like an in and out kind of thing, depending on what you're feeling. But yeah, so as we alluded to before, like Super Rod card low-key busted, and I think that Lost Box is definitely one of those decks that freaking takes advantage of it, probably the best. And so yeah, but Bobby, talk to me about some Lost Box. You've been testing this for quite some time in this kind of format. I've been on the guard train, but you've been going full force with the Lost Box. What are you feeling about this deck?
It's still stupid good. Main reason why I believe is Sableye and Mirage Gate and the toolbox it can be. I don't play the Kyogre version no more, is because everybody's playing Manaphy 90% of the time. And it's annoying to deal with, especially when you have to go Sableye, knock it out, then Kyogre for game. So I got away from that right now until everybody decides not to like worry about it, but that will never happen. I love and hate this deck at the same time. I love how it plays, but I hate it is because I played it for so long and I'm just want to try something new. But every time I try something new, I go against Lost Box, and I always think of myself, now I know why I don't play anything but Lost Box, just because of Sableye.
Yeah, I've said it plenty of times. I'll keep saying it. Like I think that Lost Box is just the biggest gatekeeper to the format right now. It's just too strong, personally, and I think Sableye is definitely the biggest problem for the deck. So I mean, any kind of setup, there's a lot of cards that would be really cool and really good, like lots of other stage 2 decks, like Skeledirge, Meowscarada we mentioned earlier and stuff like that, but like not a single one of those decks, what the hell can they do about like the consistency and the power of Lost Box? And none of them can really survive like a turn 2 Sableye. Like, and that's not out of the realm of possibility, like by any means, for Lost Box. If they even draw just regularly, they don't even have to draw insane. They just have to draw like pretty good,
I did it at Grand Slam last Friday.
Yeah.
Poor guy. I was like, I'm sorry, dude, but I got to do it this way. Turn 2 Sableye, knock out what was it? It was a Manaphy, and then next turn I knocked out 2 Comfies, and I'm like, I'm sorry. The deck. He was like, the deck just does it. It is what it is. I'm like, okay. At least he understands.
Yeah, at least he understands. So, but yeah. So, if you had to say, like, is there any like inherent weakness to this deck? Is there something kind of holding it back right now, or is it just definitively? This is definitely the other deck that I would say is probably top 2 in the format, but next to Gardevoir, and it is slightly favored against Gardevoir, which is its biggest selling point, because Gardevoir's matchup spread is freaking insane.
It is
really only loses to Lost Box or itself, pretty much. So yeah.
I say Lost Box loses hard to itself also, because when you have a dead hand,
true.
You're not catching up at all.
That is true.
Happened multiple times. You're not catching up. Uh, I feel the Arceus decks also give it a hard time too, because Arceus is just you gotta like 2 to 3 shot it, and that's pretty rough.
Yeah. Lost Box into Arceus, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I was kind of getting at, is like, because even like the turbo build, like you having the V's and stuff like that, you're capping out at 250 damage, unless you're hitting for weakness, with the Dragon Knight. So if you can get the turn 1 7, pop a Mirage Gate, nuke Arceus on turn 1, like, yeah, they're probably not coming back from that, but that doesn't happen every single game, but I do think that some of like the bigger, bulkier decks, like those Arceus variants that you were talking about, can definitely give Lost Box a little bit more trouble, because like your high end just isn't quite there, and just HP just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So would that be a reason for you to maybe consider something else, or you think that just Lost Box is just too good, it might just be worth taking those trickier matchups, not necessarily hard matchups, but trickier matchups?
I say it's a little. I would still take it. Like, for me, I would still take it regardless, because you can still win it. Mm-hmm. Like, me and Chris were testing I tested out both versions of Lost Box, this turbo version and the Kyogre, and he was playing Mew, one of the other decks we're going to talk about in a little bit. The Kyogre version was having a slight problem with Mew was giving Lost Box Kyogre a harder time because of the leaps. Mm-hmm. And when I played this version of it, I would win.
Yeah.
Because one, I say the Drapion. Normally you save the Drapion for last.
I assume that they're playing like Mew and like Manaphy in their Mew and stuff like that now. Too, right?
Some aren't.
Yeah.
Like this build I'm looking at, I had to double check. This one's not playing the Manaphy. This one's just pure fusion. And I'm like, oh, okay, no Manaphy. Then I check another one, there's no Manaphy. And having the Deoxys also in the Mew deck helps tremendously amount against for the Lost Box matchup. So, I guess it's just how the builds are, how differently they are. So, I personally, if you're going to play Lost Box, I would go with the non-Kyogre right now, because it's still a good build. Not saying it's bad.
Yeah.
Right now, Manaphy and a lot of people are playing Mew. If you know how to beat the Mew matchup with it, then good, play it. But if you don't, play the other build.
I feel that. But yeah, so I think that segues pretty well into us starting a discussion on Mew as well. So let's go ahead and pop this open here. So this is what's looking like, the new way to play, new go-to to go with Mew. So before we had, Fusion Mew, and then Path Mew became the big go-to thing, and now we've come full circle back to Fusion Mew. And, of course, Spiritomb definitely plays a role in that. These online tournaments, you can't play Spiritomb, but, but I think that, despite all that, not being able to play the Spiritomb, I still think that the Fusion Mew here is incredibly strong into this format. So it, deals with the Arceus variants and stuff like that. They're still going to be popping around, because you have that insane power level right off the rip, to potentially just pop 210 plus, out of nowhere. Of course, you have your choice belt, your your power tablets to reach even higher. So that's just really strong. And like the Path Mew doesn't really have that explosive power that this version can definitely bring out. I do really like that they're still incorporating like a small like path combo with like a Judge and an Iono and stuff like that. Most of your draw power in this deck is coming from Genesect and stuff like that. So, you know, it's pretty crazy to see a deck play literally only 2 draw supporters, but Mew makes it work. Mew has been making this kind of nonsense work for a long time, because like really you only really want to boss or maybe Judge and Iono, and then you have a Pal Pad to shuffle stuff back in. And you know, not to mention Mew has a really good attacks with you know, being able to copy all these guys. Of course, Melodious Echo, you don't just have to attack with Meloetta for that. You can load up your Fusion Strikes energies anywhere on like your bigger, healthier Mews, and then Meloetta can just plow, and you can use Meloetta's attack to plow through everything with a 310 body. That's really good. Even this Block Slider Ice Cube, this has been a new inclusion that does 40 damage for each of your Fusion Strike energy you can play. It allows you to snipe that to a bench, and what do you know? 2 Fusion Energy you get with your Elisa Sparkle, and you're able to knock out a Spiritomb on the bench. Isn't that crazy? So look at that. So yeah, it's just really cool. Really cool adaptations. This deck doesn't play the Deoxys, but it's certainly a effective option. It's as Bobby was saying, it's pretty decent into Lost Box because it has that 120 HP, which is just a number that's really annoying for Lost Box because you know Cram can't take that easy knockout like he can on like the Ice Cube or the Meloetta. So yeah, like. I'm really enjoying this. We haven't even talked about like, you know, we were talking about like the Psychic Leap plays that you can make, being able to preserve your Muse and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm very happy to see this adaptation and this change back into this version of Mew, because let's be honest, Judge Path Mew was boring.
It was
boring, okay? This deck is at least fun and it's interesting. Oh, yeah. Like, you know,
but that was
stuff
the way they had to
happens
back then.
Yeah, I know. But like in this deck, shit happens, man. Like you'll just pop off out of nowhere and you'll blow something up, and that's just way more fun, and it's cool. So yeah, like I definitely think that this is a cool adaptation of Mew, and while I don't see it being like a top 2 deck or anything like that, I certainly think that this is going to see some significant meta share, and the fact that Spiritomb's in the format, I mean the deck doesn't really care. Nothing kills Mew. How many times are we gonna have to relearn this lesson, old men? Nothing kills Mew. Like, we had Path, we had Dark Archetypes, we had Drapion, the biggest middle finger to a single card I have ever seen, and now we have Spiritomb. Nothing kills Mew. This deck is immortal. It will not die until it rotates. And you know what? You gotta love it. You gotta love it, right, Bobby?
To an extent.
To an extent. Yeah, that's true. You did play this deck for like damn near a year, so I
did. Like Lost Box. It's like Lost Box to me. I'm like, set comes out, buy everything. I played Mew from when it first came out, and then I was playing Arceus with Baby Moltres, the dark one, because it was a good counter for this deck. And I was playing with the Beedrill, the Special Energy Beedrill. Pretty good card. Rest in peace, Inteleon lineup. Shady Dealings.
No rest in peace. Go to hell. Screw that. No.
that was awesome.
No.
I love the Iskew. I know in best of one formats that's pretty broken.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody keeps the Manaphy against this deck.
Mm-hmm.
Until they see it, then game 2 and 3, I'm not sure how that's going to work. I know against Chris, I kept running it over. He kept killing the Comfy. I was like, yeah, that's fine. Because I never put my Manaphy down. Too much bench space.
Mm-hmm.
But then I would come back, and I would kill it with a Cram, and then go off and win the game after that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like, I think that this is just a cool adaptation of the deck. I think it's fun. Something I would like to maybe see try to sneak back in here is an Oricorio. Just cause, like...
That would be, yeah.
I think Oricorio is really good. So not only is it good for, like, the Arceus variants, especially Arctina, gets you out of that range and stuff like that. But,
yes, it does.
There is something to be said about glistening droplets, and when everybody's playing Manaphy and you have the Ice Cube, you could glistening droplets and have some fun. If they swing into you with a Dragonite, then you can glistening droplets and knock out that freaking Manaphy. Just saying.
But you could actually potentially, yeah. Just take out 2.
Yeah.
No, you can't take out 2 prizes.
You could like set it up maybe so they can't like swing.
Yeah,
with
you could set it up where you could take multiple prizes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's just like one of those things. I don't know. I think I'm like the Mew player that's used glistening droplets more than fucking anybody. I don't know why. I used to try to make it work, and like it kind of works. It's not a bad attack, but yeah.
No.
So, but yeah. So we've been talking about some decks and archetypes that have been around for a while, but now we get to talk about the brand new one, the freaking the new poster child of Paldea Evolved, the Chien Pao Baxcalibur deck. And yeah, so this is a fairly standard looking kind of list that we've been seeing running around for a while. They're running the thick line of Palkia, thick lines of Bibarel, and then a small line of Baxcalibur, and then a couple other tech cards. And pretty much it just runs off of just Iono, Boss, Irida. Irida lets you dig out things. I love Pokestop in this deck, by the way. I tried out the Pokestop and I have not gone back. I freaking love it. You just have so much stuff that you can get out and you can just extend into other things. So yeah, like this deck is just, it's really fun, and I am very happy to see that people have cut the Crown Zenith Kyogre, because I really just was not finding any use for that card. Like it would come up like once every like maybe 15-20 games or something like that, and I'm just like,
man, I use it a lot.
Really?
All right, so I don't play Palkia version.
Okay.
I don't like the Palkia version.
Okay.
I play the Arceus version.
Okay, so yeah, I've seen some hype about the Arceus version.
Look up the late night for Alex Shemensky if you can. Okay. I don't know how far you'll have to go.
I will. So
probably a good bit.
I don't know.
His version got like 13th, I believe, at the late night.
I don't know. I don't think this really got anything too crazy, too under top 8 in it, but I don't know. Like, I love the Palkia. I really actually just like this list here.
I'm not crazy about Cross Switcher because you have to use 2 of them.
Yeah, but you have the Pokestop and you got Irida to dig them out.
Yeah, like, I know. But with the Arceus, they're searching out 4 cards. And plus, Arceus gives you a better matchup against Lost Box, too.
I guess.
But, so, me and Drew have been messing with the Arceus build a lot. And even against the Palkia build, it feels really nice against it. the Palkia, because I don't worry about the cross switcher at all. If I need it to get rid of the Manaphy, I just go Boss Cologne to search it off from the Arceus, and that just makes it a hell of a lot easier instead of have to go, ooh, let's Pokestop. I didn't hit it. I gotta dig for it a little bit more. I don't have to worry about that. And just knock out the Manaphy. I don't play like I play one Skater Park in mine, and I play 2 Lost City because I feel Lost City right now is just a really good card against Lost Box and Gardevoir. Hurts them tremendously. They can't Super Rod.
Yep.
I also play Avery in mine build, like Alex did also. So Avery helps in the matchup of Gardevoir, because now it makes them choose if they want to keep Ralt, Manaphy, all the important key cards that they need. Same with Lost Box. It makes them have to choose if they want to keep the Manaphy or anything like that. So having that kind of, it feels more mid-rangey, as that's the aspect to put it, because that's kind of what it feels like from like when playing Magic. So that's the main reason why I like the Arceus build over the Palkia, because also with the Palkia, you're only playing a 2-2 lineup of Frigibax and the Baxcalibur majority of the time.
Something similar to this, I take it?
Yes, actually, there's a couple cards differences. That's actually very close to what I play.
Okay.
I like the 3-3-3, 3 Rare Candy, 3 Frigibax, and 3 Baxcaliburs. It makes it harder for your opponent to come back and keep sniping them when you have 3 of them, because then eventually you got to leave them alone. You got to go for the bigger stuff. And what I was experiencing in the Palkia version, once you use the Palkia up and they get rid of the Baxcalibur, it's a really slow game, and it sucks. Because that deck, you have to quickly go, and you have to do it fast. Because if you don't do it fast, the grind game's kind of meh to me.
I could see that. I don't know. Like, I just think that this kind of version just kind of covers the bases really well. Like, you know, you have recovery with Palkia or early setup, so you're not like fully reliant on the Baxcalibur, you know. So, but you bring up some good points with like the thick line of the Baxcalibur and stuff like that, because if they're constantly targeting your Frigibaxes and stuff like that, that's giving you more of an opportunity to, you know, set up your Chien Pao manually for big hits, or, you know, of course, you know, getting into your Arceus and setting up that to go big. So yeah, you definitely bring up some good points there. And, you know, you can just, you know, still get that Boss Cologne combo right off of the Starbirth. So, I personally still like this version because it just feels more safe to me, you know. But, you know, I get it. I might have to try this out. You know, you've kind of talked me into it a little bit. So, but yeah. So overall, though, go ahead, Bobby.
The reason why Kyogre is stupidly cool. So, Lugia is still a deck. It's still around. It helps snipe the Archeops. They have a hard time playing with one. You can just snipe it. Kills that whole engine. They have 2 out. You snipe it. They're having a hard time. Deal with one. The Mew matchup. You go first. You win the coin toss. You go first. You have the setup ready to go. This card kills a Mew right off the bat.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the main reason why I like the Kyogre too. I also play the Articuno, the Wild Freeze.
Oh, you played the Wild Freeze one. See, I was looking at this one. The
that one's not a bad idea either.
Because like it lets your Chien Pao reach for 310 without needing to do anything, and like you could. I was looking to see if it was only to active, which unfortunately it is. So, but you know that still is nice because you know you can boss up a Genesect and knock it out with this Kyogre.
Well, I mean, it's the same idea as why Miraidon plays the Zapdos.
Yep. So it lets you hit good numbers. So
yes. So honestly, that might not be a bad idea. I'm gonna actually pick up an Articuno while I'm at NAIC and test that out.
Nice.
Because I get rid of my bulk like a goofy ass.
Yeah, I'm sure you can pick one up pretty easily. But yeah, so yeah, of these decks that we talked about today, though, of course we have different variations and stuff like that. So is this what you think the top 4 decks are going to be for this tournament? Like, are people going to throw the chips in for Chien Pao, or do you think it might just be a little bit too early?
I think people are going to go with what's safe. Lost Box, Gardevoir, Arceus.
Mm-hmm.
I feel, and Mew. Can't forget the Mew.
Yep.
I feel they're going to go with what's safer. I feel the people who are actually like the pros and the people that actually know how to play the Chien Pao potentially are going to play the Chien Pao and are like, hey, I know this matchup pretty well. I should win this.
Nice.
I feel it that way. I feel people are going to go with the safer route. Especially if they don't understand the deck, then they'll go with Lost Box Guardy, Tina, Arceus Tina, Arceus Duraludon, Mew. Especially Mew. Mew's probably the safest because you have Fusion Mew that can knock out Arceus, knock out Chien Pao in one hit. So I feel that way. Mm-hmm. I mean, personally, if it was me, if I was playing in the NA site like that, I would either go to Fusion Mew or Lost Box.
All right, I feel that. So yeah. I kind of feel about the same. I think that NAIC it's the biggest tournament of the year outside of Worlds, of course. EOIC was 1,500, almost 1,600 players. This one's going to be even bigger. So you need to bring something. You bring something that's going to be consistent. It's going to win you games, and these first 3 decks that we talked about here, are good, tried and true archetypes that are going to win you games. So while I don't discount Bexcalibur, I just don't think that it's its time right now. So it might need a little bit more time to cook and just see. Maybe we'll see some at Worlds. I don't know. Maybe somebody has the magical list and we'll see a Bexcalibur in top 8 or something.
Oh, dude, I hope so.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But
I honestly hope, to me, for this event, I'm hoping that the main decks do not win. I am hoping an underdog deck wins. Shoot, I hope Inteleon Urshifu Rapid Strike deck can actually make the top 8 and win the event.
Yo, Bobby, you've given me good-ass segues because I was about to bring up. Now, we are going to each choose a deck that we want to talk about. So it looks like you want to talk about some Inteleon Urshifu. Is that going to be your deck that your outlier deck that you want to talk about here? So screw it. Let's bring up a list here.
Well, see, I'm stuck between Masquerado and Inteleon, but I feel Inteleon Rapid Strike is going to be better because how many people play Lost Box. Mm-hmm. I feel the deck has a very good matchup against Lost Box.
Yeah, for sure. This deck has a surprisingly good matchup against Lost Box. It can easily knock out Manaphy's and stuff like that, with your double gunner attack. Or double gunner ability, and then you move things around with Painful Spoon's Alakazam. You got the Yoga Loop to freaking take out things, and then get that extra turn. Like, this deck, it's wild. It's something else. Like, it's just one of those decks that's always on the fringe, but you have to respect it. Like, is it a top tier 1 deck? No, I don't think anybody's going to say that, but it is a deck you have to respect. It is kind of held back a little bit by its Mew matchup, but you do have the Drapion, you do have the tools to kind of do something with it. Inteleon VMAX is actually a decent attacker in that matchup because you do 140, 140, over and over again. That's not too bad. But it's really about that Drapion. I'm honestly surprised that this is only playing one Drapion. Usually these lists you'll see play 2 Drapion for that Mew matchup. But yeah. So Bobby, though, what do you think? Are we gonna see maybe some Inteleon Urshifu rise up this tournament?
I'm hoping so. It'd be nice because in the right person, right person playing this deck can make it go off and get to it. Like, this deck is super crazy. If I had the cards, I would be playing it right now.
I feel that.
So I think the deck's broken. I give it credit for where it needs to be, how it is. I think it's a big, huge underdog, and I love underdogs. So
can see that. I can definitely respect that for sure. So yeah, this is a fun deck. It's a super fun deck as well, which is something for sure that you need to keep in account. But yeah, it's a cool deck. It's very interesting. I do think that it's a lot of people disrespect this deck unwarrantedly. So yeah, be sure keep an eye out for Inteleon Urshifu. Its Gardevoir matchup actually is surprisingly decent. You wouldn't think so, but it kind of is. Like, it's because you have all the damage coming down with the double gunners. Like, it forces you to evolve very quickly and stuff like that. And sometimes you just can't do that. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's just super fun. But yeah. So that's Bobby's kind of outside of the box pick. So it's my turn, and you know what I'm gonna pick, Bobby? I'm gonna pick Ting Lu, boy. I'm gonna pick Ting Lu. So I built this deck. I am having a ton of fun with this deck. This deck is the cheesy asshole deck to beat all cheesy asshole decks, and I love it. So my list actually plays a small line of Bibarel to help it with some draw power and stuff like that, because you do have, I was noticing you have a lot of like instant playable cards, like the Gutsy Pickaxes, like the Ultra Balls and the Trekking Shoes and stuff like that. So you can definitely burn through your hand and empty things. So Bibarel just kind of helps keep things going, because you need an attachment every single turn with this deck. But yeah, so this is a super fun, interesting deck. Fun fact, nobody will know how to play against it, right? Because it's banned online.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
But yeah, so it loses horribly to Mew. I'm just gonna say that. It loses horribly to Mew. So like, if you're trying to beat Mew, I'm dead serious. I don't even think you freaking bother with putting Drapions in the thing, because you just get bulldozed by freaking Meloetta anyway. But like, yeah, like this deck, it's super fun. It's a little clunky, I'm not gonna lie. You will have those games where you just draw like Halucha start and then a bunch of junk, and there's nothing you can do about it. But it works. It does work more than you think. I think that people need to be considering putting Judge over just Iono in this deck. I actually play a 2-2 split of Judge and Iono, and I'm finding it very strong. Yeah, because like Judge, a Judge early game is still really good. So you're able to put them down to 4, and then you're usually locking their draw power abilities with Ting Lu and stuff like that. Escape Rope doesn't usually get them out of it, because you have another Ting Lu there. But yeah, like I don't know. I think that this deck, it's not gonna make top 8. I'm not gonna say that, but I can definitely see this making day 2, just because people just will not be well prepared for this deck. It is not something that people are going to be prepared for. So yeah, is this the best deck BDIF contender? Hell no. But it's fun, and it's cheesy, and you know what? Sometimes you just gotta do that. So, and I got a full art penny just for this deck, because why not?
Did you really?
I did. I got a full art penny just to put in this deck.
Like, I like the idea of how the deck is supposed to be played, and I like that. My problem is that opening hand of you going first.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
That's the
turn
only problem,
one.
like,
Its turn one is so volatile. It is so crazy bad.
like, I tried it out before everything got hit, and it was that brief little bit of time. A couple games, broken hand, going first, broken. All right, cool. Win the game. A lot of times, you hit that bad hand going first, you're like, huh, I'm too far behind. I'm losing. No point. Well,
yeah. I don't know.
There was another deck that I was seeing a big time online.
Mm-hmm.
I know online's totally different than actual, like, in real life. But I have been seeing, and there's one person that I will give credit to for giving my attention to this from locals. Justin. He brought to attention that Giratina decks, Lost Box, are actually starting to play, like, some not Sableye, Spirit Tomb in some builds, and with more higher pass at a peak.
Yeah,
count,
I've actually been,
bumped up.
Yeah, like turning into more of a control kind of thing.
Yes. And honestly, I could see it potentially making day 2 at NAIC, because honestly, Path is still a powerful card. If you played Yu-Gi-Oh! And you came from Yu-Gi-Oh! And you're playing Pokemon, think of Mystic Mine. This is basically the Mystic Mine of Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very good card, and I feel like it's hard to still deal with because everything in your deck besides the Greninja gets over it.
Mm-hmm.
And the Spirit Tomb is a very annoying card. You're playing Arceus decks, it turns off your abilities. It shuts down it shuts down your whole deck because you're not playing anything else besides these.
Mm-hmm.
Mew, even though they play the Iskew, if they don't have they need to have the Iskew. Not if, they need it.
Mm-hmm.
For the Spirit Tomb. If not, you go boss kill it with a Pokemon. Palkia, Chimpow, Arceus Chimpow, shuts them cards off. Not the Chimpows, the Arceus and the Palkia. And that could actually potentially hurt and lose you a game because the energy retrieval can be so crucial, and having the search ability for 2 cards is crucial. And Tina doesn't care about pass because you can still use the ability because it's an attack. You just, oh cool, let's just knock out, get 2 to 3 prizes and win this game.
For sure. Yeah.
So this build has potential.
Yeah, I've definitely been noticing this kind of trend to, with the Lost Gearty, because before it just used to be just kind of like a worse version of Lost Box. Let's be straight here. But now, like, it's incorporating these kind of control elements and stuff like that, and I think it's exactly what the card needed, what the deck kind of needed, because, I mean, traditional Lost Box, Turbo Lost Box, it doesn't really have room for these kind of control elements. You have to have a lot of switching outs. You have to have, your turbo pieces, get your forest seals in there and all this other nonsense. But this version, it can take it a little slower. It's fine just going turn 1 Cram, turn 2 Lost Impact or Greninja, turn 3 another Lost Impact, and then from there a Lost Requiem for game. Like, it's fine taking it a little slower, and like that definitely bodes well for the the control aspects, because you want to slow the game down a little bit. You want to make them brick with your Roxannes and being able to play those 2 prize Pokemon, because from effectively turn 3 onward you can be putting them down to two cards because you're going to be attacking with a Cram into a Giratina, and then then Roxanne's turned on because they're going to probably revenge the Giratina, or they're not going to revenge the Giratina, and you get 2 attacks off with Giratina, and not many decks in the format are going to be surviving 2 attacks from Giratina.
No.
That's probably 3 or 4 prize cards getting taken right there. So yeah, I'm still kind of a little iffy on it. I still like my traditional like Turbo Go Burr Lost Box, but I see why this is is picking up some steam. I definitely like it, and I think people may be somewhat unprepared for it going forward.
I mean, like, I feel it has potential.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's Tina. I love Tina. That's what I started out with. And this was actually the first build of Lost Box that I was messing around with for the longest time until Lugia came out. But I feel it needs some type of recognition. It doesn't. Will it make day 2? Possibly. Will it top 8?
Oh, I can definitely see it make it day 2. Yeah.
Top 8. I don't know. If it makes top 8, that's gonna surprise the hell out of me.
I can see that. Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, that's just a little talk about what we think for NAIC. I think that if you're wanting to perform well, if you're wanting to try to win, you need to be probably playing some of these top tier archetypes, these consistent, strong things. The Muse, the Guard of War Lost Box. You can maybe throw some chips in with Chien Pao, but it feels like it's a little too soon for Chien Pao. Or if you want to just ruin somebody's day, just play Ting Lu. Who cares? So, but yeah. Before we go out, I do want to throw this out there. This is I did make an update to the sheet. Of course, we don't really have anything. We have nothing going on this weekend. NAIC is the only thing for tournament wise going on this weekend. But we have already started to see some league challenges getting scheduled for next month in July. So be sure keep an eye out on this spreadsheet. It's linked down below. It's linked in the Facebook. It's linked on the Discords, all the other fun shenanigans. So yeah, be sure to check that out. Even some Obsidian Flames pre-releases are already getting scheduled and put in there. So that's pretty cool. So but yeah, challenges have already been put out this month for next month. So very soon we'll be starting to hopefully get our requirements and everything like that for what's going to happen for next season, like how much CP and stuff like that we need. But yeah, Bobby, though, is there anything else that you would like to touch on before we wrap it up today?
Think for the most part everything. Yeah, it's quite. Yeah, for the most part everything. Like, I feel like this format's very diverse. There's a lot of different decks that can win. It's like, don't count them all out. Even though if they look crappy, they're potentially not crappy.
Mm-hmm.
Give them credit where the credit is definitely due. Especially like in telling on Rapid Strike Urshifu. Or even Ting Lu, who knows? That deck can actually make a surprise. So who knows? No one really knows. It could be a really good. It's going to be a really good format, and it's going to be really good seeing the different decks at the NA.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be a super fun format to watch. I'm not going actually. I wasn't able to make it swing it this time, but I'll of course be cheering you guys on from home and stuff like that. So have a good time for me, and yeah, we'll be back next week breaking down how NAIC went, and hopefully Pokémon, please put out the Rex for next freaking season. God, it is literally your next season is starting next week. Come on, give us something. But anyway, that is gonna be it for us today. Thank y'all so much for stopping by and watching. Like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff. We love you all. Take it easy, and good luck in NAIC. Deuces.
See you.